Hey everyone, and welcome back to Remember This Tech. In the year 2000, the aluminum PC case craze started to take off, and one of the big names in premium cases turned out to be Lian Li. And they put out a number of aluminum cases throughout the 2000s, and this one I picked up as a trade for some stuff around the house. I had some cut wood and some guy had no computer, and I was like, well, what do you got? I said, oh, I got this old case and it's like shiny. And I'm like, is it a Lian Li? And he's like, well, I don't think so. So I said, deal. So what we're gonna do today is take a look in here, see what's in here, clean it up, try to restore it a bit, hence the gloves, and maybe there's workable board in here. It's gonna need some cleaning though, I'm serious. But it's missing a front plate. It didn't come with it, but it has a multiple I/O Roswell here, front I/O panels, and we're gonna do a complete wipe down, see if anything works, and then go from there. And if it doesn't, then we will. I got something I could put in here, a kind of later model 2000 motherboard. So the cool thing about these Lian Li cases is that the whole front panel would come off, right? So everything was fairly easy to get in and out of and clean and fix stuff. This has not been cleaned, obviously. And these bays, you know, you don't need like anything to them. This is just aluminum placeholder. I had one of these, my brother has it now, so getting it difficult to get it back. But another cool feature before I get into cleaning this is that some of these had removable motherboard trays that you could just pull out, but this one doesn't. This one here had a system where you could attach the power supply to this plate, this aluminum plate, and you could unscrew it from the case chassis and put in your power supply that way. Sometimes it was hard to get a power supply in and do that, but you could take it out this way. And that's the same with this one. Looks like USB 3.0, so whatever board's in here can't be that old. There's like G-Skill stickers on here. So this is a Lian Li PC7. Well, I'll look that up and put the specs up above for you. And we'll give you an unfiltered look at the inside prior to cleaning it, so you know. It's got stickers on here. My SSD is faster than your HDD. OCZ Tech. And the other front stickers were G-Skill stickers, Asus, Dolby, Home Theater, Phenom X4, AMD X2. So it looks like it went through a couple reiterations of upgrades. Phenom 2. So let's get right into this. Let's give you a crack at this nasty thing. I was poking around in here a little bit, but not a lot. Let me get it up here so you can see. I don't even know if anything works in here, to be honest with you. First things first, it's got a beefy cooler, and hopefully it's good. 2 sticks of G-Skill memory with 2 banks free. It looks like it's a gigabyte motherboard though, you know, from what I can see. The other thing is there is a serial ATA hard drive in here. And this is a removable cage caddy here, right? This cage here is fully removable from the front screws. And minimal cabling. But I pulled this out earlier to look at it. And if you look at this, it's a Western Digital Velociraptor. And I looked it up and it appears to be an 80 gig, but aftermarket drive. But when it's formatted, it's 75 gigs. So that's how they did these. They had a beefy heatsink here. They got really hot. It's a 10,000 RPM Raptor. If this works, that'd be a sweet deal. Can't see with the power supply or nothing, so we're gonna gut this, clean it, see if these things work. Get it nice and shiny. There are a few dents and dings. Like I said, this has a plate or the power supply attached to, took out the 4 screws so that you can undo it and pull it out, and I can take a look at it and see what the guy had in here for a power supply. It's a 380 watt earth watts. Very underpowered. Well, we'll see if it works at least, right? Let's get to it. I'm gonna really clean it this time. Good thing, well, like I mentioned before, the ability to take out every single piece of these aluminum, well, parts here for the bays and other pieces, and the fact that they're aluminum, they're not going to typically rust. So it's pretty good because, well, you can do a little bit easier of a deep cleaning, sort of. You get what I mean, right? The front is aluminum, but there are plastic pieces to it, and I've taken the liberty of blowing the case out in the front steps of my house. I don't want to do that inside, you know. Cleaning this filth off will take some time, and then I'm going to take the board. Well, I'll see if it even posts, and then we'll go from there, and I'll do the rest of the cleaning inside. I'll show you some of the results in a minute here. And there's a front panel with the air intake for the fans. There's a filter there that I need to take out and clean. It's full of dust, it's gross. But it's got a removable filter, so that's a good thing. I'm not able to get in here, right? So like I said before, take out some thumb screws, and I can remove this bay. Easier than said than done. Somebody took a vice grips to one of these, but this whole bay comes out. So this is good in a way that for cleaning, but let's say you wanted front I/O for this case. The front didn't come with a USB 3.0, probably had a 1. So if you had like a 3.0 and USB-C 2.5 inch bay, like I had in my other kit build that I did, sleeper build, just pop it right in here, and it'll go great in this. It's only held on by 2 screws, but so the only thing that you're not able to take out is this here, this main structure. But you're able to take this bay out as well, which I will do, and get a thorough cleaning. Gotta make it shiny. Gotta make it clean. Come on, let's go. Piece of history here in Lian Li case. Oh, clean out the hard drive cages, and the front fan intake thing just slides off, which is a convenient way to basically clean it. But the material basically was so old it just shredded, you know, the filter material. So I guess we just have a metal plate here like that. Everything else is pretty clean, so I'm gonna just put some things back and see if we can fire it up, clean the fans out, and it's looking all right so far. I'll show you as soon as we test it. So a moment of truth, just to test whether or not this board is still good and the power supply is good. I plugged it in, and we're going to use the onboard graphics to see if it has any life in it and if it even boots up at all. Power on. Okay, we have a post. We have video out. Holy crap. This is cool. Try to get in the BIOS. Oh, we might have life in this system. That means that the board should be good, hopefully, and that we also have video out from the board, and the CPU's got to be good too. Okay, we're running at 3600 megahertz. I wonder what the CPU is in here. Don't even know. Let's zoom in a little bit and focus on the screen for y'all. Alright, so I don't know what CPU's in here. I don't know what RAM's in here. But it looks like we have a good date. sees the Raptor, and see there's the Raptor, the Velociraptor, and the hard drive. So we got 4 gig of memory, that's it. K8. I wonder if this system has an OS on any of the drives that could boot up. I don't know if we wiped them or not. That'd be interesting. USB 3.0 can't be that old of a board. I'll put the specs for the motherboard up here so you can check them out. What the CPU cooler's doing fine. It just didn't tell me what CPU is in there that I could tell. The only one thing to do then, put this system back together and see if we can load an OS on the Raptor, or if there is an OS already on here, see what we can do. Maybe it'll boot, maybe it won't, and if not, I'm gonna load up the Velociraptor and test it out. Wouldn't be surprised if they didn't wipe their drives. See, check this out. Windows 7, what? Earlier version Windows. Must be XP on here, you think? Why not? Probably won't work. Okay, so it looks like we have some corrupt thing here. Let's reboot the system and go into Windows 7. So this hasn't been touched since Windows 7 days. Well, it's been sitting in somebody's closet or basement or wherever. This is pretty exciting. Well, for me it is. I don't know about you guys out there, but alright, so we're getting no go on the boot, so we're gonna have to load OS on here and go from there. Do a fresh install. Trying another set of RAM. AliExpress. It looks like it's working in the BIOS. This stuff, one of these sticks is not working or something. AliExpress specials, you really let me down. Reinstalling Windows on the Raptor. Not that loud. Could I go with the SSD? Yeah. I'm gonna do a test on the Raptor because it's here. Velociraptor, and install Windows 10. Get the system up to date and check out what's in here. So I got the system upgraded with some RAM. The original RAM in there is good. You know, it's only 4 gigs. I put in another 2 8 gig sticks to equal 20 gig total. Installing Windows 10 Pro, the CPU shows up as a 6-core CPU, so it could be a X6 Phenom. It could be an FX 6300. I don't know. It could be a number of those different AMD CPUs. And I know it's AMD because stickers are all over it. AMD. We'll wait until this gets installed, do some preliminary tests. I'm putting it on the Raptor because I want to test the Velociraptor. It's not even gonna match the speed of an SSD, but I want to do some benchmarks to see how I made out on this system in restoration anyways. And if I really wanted to restore it, I would have put Windows 7 on here, but maybe in a later date. So let's get on with this, shall we? This is pretty exciting. Come on, let's go. So the system has an onboard Radeon HD 4250, which I am using currently as video out. We have an AMD Phenom 2 X6 1090T 6-core processor. That's a pretty nice score. We're running the Raptor here. Right here is a boot drive, which is lackluster since we're all used to SSDs and faster nowadays. But you ran 2 of those and RAID 0 back in the day, you were flying pretty good. Overall, the system's pretty decent. That processor is a bonus. So I did a speed test on the Velociraptor just to show that it's far better to use an SSD, obviously. I'll just show you the test results here. Obviously, if you have an SSD, you should use one. We got 102.5 megabits per second and 111 write. And then everything else tanked from there on out. The mechanical drive, even at 10,000 RPM, of this era just couldn't compete with an SSD. Even a cheap one from AliExpress that said, destroy this. There you have it. So final thoughts, I'm pretty happy about how this Lian Li case restoration came out, because you can see these all aluminum cases just need a wipe down and they're back to almost their former glory when you're new. I had one of these cases back in the day, and I'm glad that one of these came back in my possession, and I was glad to keep it out of the junk heap. One notable thing is that the person had all these stickers from previous CPUs on there. And you know, I did the same thing. I kept upgrading and kept the case because it was a decent case and it was worth it. The case is a little bit noisier, but that's partly because they haven't put the side panels back on. We found out A, that the motherboard is perfectly functional. B, the CPU is a AMD Phenom 21190T 6-core processor. That's a score. And the RAM was functional and everything. Power supply's albeit anemic but functional, so I'm running it on. The other surprise was the Velociraptor worked fine, and it came with a 320 gig hard drive, and it worked fine. Just formatted the Velociraptor, threw on Windows 10, good to go. One downfall though using that is that cheap AliExpress SSD will destroys it, and there's no real benefit of running it unless you're truly going for a period correct build. So finding that 1190T CPU is a good score, and I think I'm gonna have to make a video about that to see if it can game in 2024. So stay tuned for that, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure to hit that like button and put the thumbs up. It really helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. So thanks for coming along with me on this journey and restoring this piece of history. And thanks for watching. Remember this tech.